Bonjour, monker. It's your Archon of Wisdom. Today, we're here, we're queer, and we're going to talk about the internet's least favorite person associated with Colleen Ballinger. That is Joshua David Evans. Yes, unfortunately, we are talking about him again today. We are going to talk about the latest update with the situation regarding Gavin Reads It All. Go check out his channel. Pop him in the search tab. You'll see him pop right up. Because I waited to drop this video today, Sunday, to give it the situation a little room to develop. Mostly because, as a mugger myself, I know that if there's one thing's for certain, two things for sure, muggers work fast, especially when we sense injustice. Guys, even on my channel, I see you guys with this recent situation, but with anything involving muggers, really, you guys are always checking up on my channel, which is really great. You guys really spread the wealth out there. So go give some love to Gavin. But we are going to talk about the entire situation today. And I am going to bring you guys some recent updates. Alright. Now, right off the bat, I want to say that as of right now on Sunday, by the way, happy Father's Day if you are a daddy. Except my own dad. Hi, I hate you. Bye. Anyway. As of Sunday, today, Gavin is released from his contract. Okay. I did not see any update about whether he has received his money yet, but he is released from the contract. So, again, that's all thanks to muckers, to granny panties, to whatever Fat Sajak calls us. I'm not sure. Fatties? I don't know. Like, greenies, because her hair is green. I don't know. Anyway. Now, let's dive into the situation. Okay. Right off the bat, Gavin mentions in his video detailing the situation. Again, please go look at Gavin's entire video. It's a great video. It's super vulnerable, and it's super well done. And you'll hear Gavin speak about very specific things. He reads out full emails, full context. I'm not going to give you guys that. I'm just here to give you guys the Spark Notes version. If you know, you know. Book Talk, I see you. Okay. So right off the bat, Gavin speaks about knowing Joshua David Evans and knowing his name from YouTube, from the Swoop documentary. That'll be important for later, guys. Right off the bat, the first optimization report that Gavin received from the company, from his manager, Joshua David Evans, was just completely out of left field, pushing clear boundaries that Gavin had specifically mentioned not wanting to cross. Gavin had specifically mentioned in the information he filled out for the company, requesting to specifically not work with BetterHelp, and that was the first suggestion that he was given from Joshua David Evans and from the Studio 71 team in the optimization report. Something else that Gavin also speaks about in this part was that Joshua's suggestion was to change the route of his channel to mirror something more child-friendly, as Gavin puts it, a quote-unquote Blue's Clues-like personality. This is just completely off base and not what Gavin does. Not only is Gavin not a channel for children, he does mature themes, he reads books, adult books, guys. He does drag, he does singing and costumes and cosplay for his books, and stuff like that. It's a really great channel. I love his channel, by the way, and love his personality. Super bright. Now, mind you, while this is going on, Gavin is communicating these things with Josh. and Josh is essentially leaving him on red, which is basically what he was complaining about Adam doing to him. So take that for what it is. And once again, Gavin expressed concerns with this to Josh directly, and as well as basically gave Josh a year-long list of content for his channel that Josh never responded to, never looked at, never approved. What the heck? Okay, that's literally your whole job, but sure. Gavin the whole time was expressing financial concerns, and I'll mention this again when it comes up later, but mind you that in these financial concerns, Gavin never outlines food for himself. He just outlines bills or prior engagements. He never talks about feeding himself, which is just horrible to think about, you know. One of the things that Gavin had mentioned that Josh suggested was him again playing this Blues Clues character and playing this straight man persona. Now, I know Gavin specifically mentions that this is in the context of comedy, and I do understand that this is in the context of comedy. However, based on his content that's on his channel, that's not the impression that I would ever get from Gavin. And I would never think that he would play that sort of character. That's completely outside the box of his channel. It is also just baseline insulting. I saw Adam talk about this. It's just baseline insulting to suggest something so insensitive to somebody who is homosexual. And at first I wasn't quite sure if I understood why Adam was so upset. But then I thought about it, and I put myself in Gavin's shoes for a moment, and I was like, no, I would also be very offended, and I would take that way as well, if you suggested that to me. That's horrible. What? And it's an early sign of lack of professional tact, which we'll see Josh is not very professional, but... It's then that Gavin speaks about the response that he did get finally about his outlines for content, of which Josh gave thumbnails, and Gavin shows thumbnail examples, and they are some of the most atrocious, most awful things I have ever seen. You didn't even try to play with the Chat GPT to get the right results. I can do better with ChatGPT than that, even if I didn't spend the 5 minutes it literally takes me to input my photos into a software and then cut out a celebrity photo for the thumbnail. Like, what? You guys know, I've said it before, it literally takes me 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes tops, to make a thumbnail. I mean, it probably takes me more like 2 minutes, honestly. Especially if I have everything pre-laid out and it's already like set in front of me and I have all the resources to pull from, like all the pictures and stuff. But it doesn't take a lot of time. Like, the most work that I put into this channel, that the thing that takes the most time for me is putting together and editing speed drawing videos, which you guys know I haven't done a speed drawing video in a hot minute because with my disability things have changed a little bit with that, but that's not the point. The point is it does not take long to make a thumbnail. And like the quality will be way better than ChatGPT, and I'm sorry, but in my opinion, Joshua is 100% using ChatGPT way too much. There might be ChatGPT psychosis going on. It's giving Gabby Hannah, okay? Now, again, reminder that this company is taking 10% of Gavin's income. Now, I will state that this is the express reason why I have been warned and told personally not to sign with companies like this, because they do take a percentage of your money, and that is done by them holding your money first meaning the money goes straight to them first. So what Gavin is experiencing is common with these companies, but it is predatory. Do not get me wrong. That's why I have been told previously not to ever sign with companies. And please, 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 please remind me, guys, of this video right now that I made this promise today never to sign with a company ever, 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 ever. Because financial freedom and safety is so important to me, guys. And we'll talk about that later. But moving on. What then occurs is basically a month of silence on Joshua's part, with Gavin periodically checking in and questioning the marketing that was promised to him through Studio 71, which again is a plus side of going with these companies, that they handle quote-unquote marketing for you. Gavin hasn't seen any marketing, so take that for what you will. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my god. The demons are coming out of me, guys. But basically, then Gavin writes an email to Josh, where at the end of the email, he briefly mentions the online discourse regarding Adam. And this is where things just go off the rails. Okay? Basically, at the end of this email to check up on things, Gavin mentions that he sees the online discourse, and this is starting to worry him, that he's seeing his manager respond to people online quicker than he is getting communication with his manager, which does not give him faith in the management or the company, which is understandable, in my opinion. And this makes him uncomfortable, obviously. But Josh zeroed in on that one paragraph. But, hold on. My opinion about this is the exact moment where Josh decided to completely screw over Gavin by withholding the information and not letting it leak into his job, because he thought that if my job doesn't know my secret, then I'll be fine. Which, that's just my opinion, guys, but you tell me after this video, you know? Comment, like, and subscribe, y'all. And again, up until now, Gavin has been 100%, in my opinion, completely professional. Not up until now. Through this whole situation, Gavin remains to be completely professional, I will say. So Gavin responds, asks Josh about offboarding information. Josh basically responds saying, I understand why you feel this way. If I was looking at one-sided drama commentary channels, I would also feel that way. Which is a bizarre, catty response. Again, Josh makes these catty responses like he pops off or something. Like he's it's just the ego of him thinking he's so cool, but whatever. Basically, Josh fills his email with the quote-unquote entire story, in his opinion, about what's going on between him and Adam McIntyre, which Gavin never asked for. So again, weird. But at the end of it, Josh basically tells Gavin that he's being quote-unquote emotionally reactive, which is crazy, a crazy projection, okay? And he basically says, like, I just thought after the relationship that we built that you would have at least given me a phone call. Like, what? This is not a breakup, Joshua. Like, Fat Sajak even said it, too. Like, why are you treating this like a breakup, you freaking weirdo? I mean, Gavin never gave any inkling or said anything about Josh being a bad guy at all in those emails, and this is clearly just business. Like, this is so weird behavior. But again, in that email, Josh claims to be quote-unquote just trolling. Just trolling. You're a 40-year-old man. Shut up. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. But this is the moment where Gavin is like, this is scary. This is scary behavior. Your behavior is scaring me. Like, which is valid, because same. Josh responds and says that abrupt contract endings need approval from upper management, which will take upwards of a week, which is an insane thing to say to your client. What? The big, like, huh? It doesn't take me a week to reach upper management. Like, what? In a job. Like, what? Okay. And again, like, Josh is just lying at this point, and that'll be clear in the end of this. But in this email, he mentions Swoop, and it's like, if you get a chance, watch the Swoop documentary, because that's the real me. At this point, I agree with Adam McIntyre when he said, like, I hope Swoop deletes the entire documentary, or, like, not the entire documentary. In my opinion, I think she should just completely, like, do like, a re-release and cut out Josh's part completely, and, like, put in, like, a bonus episode with an expose on Josh. But that's my opinion. But, like, I'll also take her just deleting the whole thing at this point, because Josh, you should never be able to use that as points towards anything. You're disgusting. But even Gavin calls that out when he says Josh is weaponizing his mental health and weaponizing the Swoop documentary. I 100% agree. I've seen Adam McIntyre and a lot of other people talk about Josh weaponizing his mental health and baiting, guys. So I think that's a very true statement. Gavin basically speaks about how in my opinion, Josh Barbara Streisand did hurt himself, because leaving that comment and outing himself was the only 100% inclination that it was Joshua David Evans. I did not think it was Joshua David Evans. There were a lot of other names coming up, some fantastical, but some not, but nobody had 100% thought it was Josh. There was no specific inkling that Adam had given, and no names. He did not name you Josh, and he never named you until you named yourself. You Barbara Streisanded yourself, bro. But basically, he ends this email by stating he expected a FaceTime call or a phone call before Gavin had made a final decision on this. Which, again, it's not about you, Josh, and it's not about reciprocity, and it's not about your relationships with people. Like, this is a business issue. What are you talking about, Joshua? Oh my god. Anyway. No, like, I'm going to speak about it. In my opinion, this is a common tactic that that people who may or may not be narcissists use to get you with word salad and gaslight you. They try to get direct communication because they know a lot of other people are really slow on their feet or have trouble thinking on their feet, or may, be intimidated by a face-to-face interaction or a phone call interaction. So that's just my opinion of it. I've seen it happen plenty of times to myself, okay? But this whole time, Josh never even brings up Gavin's concerns, like, legitimately, and only talks about this online beef issue with Adam McIntyre, which is just bizarre. So, but Joshua basically leaves Gavin on red all the way until he drops, his response. Oh my god, the demons. Joshua's attacking me. God. He leaves Gavin on red all the way until the response video with the cats. Gavin repeatedly asks for communication, for a timeline, for offboarding, and his finances, and gets no response, while Josh continues to post online and all over God's creation, including the catty video, which we will not discuss, that he posted on Instagram, okay? Gavin basically then reads out this email that he sent to Josh, outlining his entire expenses for everything except for anything personal, which is so heartbreaking. Like I said, he never once mentions having a budget for groceries. He only mentions his bills and prior engagements. He never mentions groceries, which is horrifying, because, like, Gavin lives in the UK and I'm in America, but I know enough, and I have enough friends outside of the country to know that the economy is super messed up over there as well. and things are getting more pricey. Things are really expensive. He even mentions how his Lecky bill and his rent is going up like $100, which is crazy, you know. But Gavin specifically says that he has proof that he asked to be let go March 1st, way before any of this online drama like really caught traction and wind. And it's June 1st and he has no, like, nothing has happened. So 3 weeks have gone by and like barely any communication, which is just insane. This is not how you handle a job at all. Like, and I understand how stressful finances are. I understand how, like, we all as humans, every single one of us wishes for financial security, has some form of financial anxiety, has felt the constraints of having to pay a bill, and not knowing if you're going to get paid, not knowing if you're going to have enough money. Like, we have all, that is a human experience, unfortunately, and I'm not, immune to it. Part of doing this job is to grasp at some kind of financial security, for me, for my family, especially with my disability, but part of it is fun because I love you guys, but either way, I understand the feeling. Now, Gavin mentions that he specifically sent a secondary email outlining everything and his concerns again to the general customer service department, which he knows went through because Josh makes a comment about it. Of course, because he's not professional. But also, again, in my opinion, because it's very clear that Joshua was holding this information from his superiors in order to keep everything under wraps as long as possible because he knew it was going to affect his job. Just my opinion. Again, I've been a manager a long time at a lot of jobs, and I've seen a lot of foolishness, guys. So, in this email, Josh basically says, oh, by the way, thank you for letting my superiors know, because it really caused us to have a really serious discussion about your channel and our relationship with your channel. And we agreed that it was best to part ways. Which is just like, again, this is not a breakup. This is not like Petty Central. Like, this is not Petty University. You're not cute and you're not cunty. Please cease. You are an embarrassment to adults. I feel shame that I have to call myself an adult and be in the same bracket as you. Do you understand? Like, this is not professional behavior by any means whatsoever. And to top it all off, Josh mentions, oh, sorry, I had to block you on Instagram, though. I felt really uncomfortable with you following my private life so closely. So I really had to block you. Like, what? This is not Mean Girls. In the words of Fat Sajak, this is not Mean Girls. You're not the queen bee. Gosh, like, this feels like that SpongeBob meme with the old man. Do I have to teach you a lesson again, old man? Like, oh my god. How much of it all can you lose, Gabby? I mean, Josh. Jeez. But either way, that is the whole situation wrapped up in a neat little bow for you guys. The Spark Notes version. I want to take this moment to de-stress, declutter, take a deep breath with me, my folks, and listen closely. We are going to have a year where we get a Delulu vlog with travel footage, guys. That's right. I am going to Massachusetts in August. I will be visiting the great city of Boston as well as Salem, and hopefully getting a cool tattoo and stuff like that. So I will be vlogging. That will be up towards the end of August, guys. Look forward for the summer vlog. I'm so excited. It's going to be my 30th birthday, so hey, slay. I love you guys very much. Listen, drink your water. Be kind to animals. Give your father a little smooch on the cheek. Don't be a weirdo. All right. And I love you. Bye. Bye, guys.